Good evening, baseball fans. It is Friday. I almost said Sunday. It's not Sunday. It is Friday. It is Friday, December 22nd. And this is episode 4003. It is not 4003. I don't even know what episode. Episode 50 of Bourbon and Baseball, All the Balls edition. I am Susie. This is Kelsey. I say this is Kelsey like I don't know which way to point. That's over
I
there.
never can point at anything on the screen.
I'm like, I don't know
Are you
where I'm
over
supposed
there?
to be
You're over
pointing.
there.
Yeah, don't know. So it's a very professional setup that we have here. Anyways, before we get started, I should probably give you the warning. This is a rated R podcast for all of the adult content, not that adult content. Don't get it twisted. Don't get it twisted, people. Not that adult content. Lots of 4-letter words and inappropriate adult humor, and drinking. I've got my drink tonight. Joss.
Me too.
What do you have? Oh, you see, you're an adult and you have wine. I don't
I
have
just
wine.
have
What do you have?
a nice Pinot Noir.
Oh, okay. I'm gonna nod my head and say, oh, okay, I know what that is. I don't know what that is. It's
What is
some sort of wine.
yours?
Mine is a Jack Daniel's Down Home Punch.
Okay.
Yeah.
Ooh, I think I had one of those before that was like a bourbon and peach thing. What kind of liquor is actually in that?
Whiskey, something.
Love it.
Yeah. I assume it's whiskey since, Jack Daniel's.
Yeah, looks
But
fast.
but you know what? They could just be fucking with me and just be like, it's vodka, Jack Daniel's vodka. I don't know.
Tastes mostly like punch, and that's what's important.
Yeah, it's what I affectionately call bitch beer. So
love it. I like that term. It works.
Yeah, so that's what I'm working with here.
Yeah, crack open and let's go.
Let's go. So we're gonna talk about all of the things. All of the things, not all the things, because we omitted some of our things because there's lots of other more important things to talk about. But we're gonna start with our 40-man find. And
yeah,
Kelsey, can I just say that I still have to remind myself that it's called the 40-man find and not Diamond Daddies, like I initially had it in my head.
That was your initial, suggestion.
It's a whole other list.
That really goes along with our calendar idea for Skip Schumacher and Gabe Kepler. So they can take that name and run with it.
For sure. Did you see me almost die because I tried to lean on this and the arm wasn't there? For the audio only listeners, just know that you did not witness me almost die and try and lean on a armrest that was not there.
She's like one sip in to her Jack Daniels too.
I can't even blame it on that. It's just
where to go from here.
That I'm just super clumsy. Anyways, so 40-man find typically is a guy that is on our 40-man roster. I say our, like I'm on the team. Any of the 40-man rosters of the teams that we talk about, that just kind of seems like a cool guy that maybe is not a starter or is maybe new to the team. Just guys that we would probably, I don't know, maybe kind of cool, want to hang out with, grab a drink, and chat some ball. And we went loser to first. That's the ranking in which we did it. So we've already covered the Rockies and the Royals and the Nats. And now this week we're going to cover the Chicago White Sox for the AL and the Cardinals for the NL.
Because the White Sox and the Cardinals ended about the same place last season, had a similar year on the books.
Yeah. So if this is your first time tuning in, I have the NL. I'm dumb. I have the NL. I have the National League. And Kelsey has the American League, basically just so that we can learn more about the guys from the other leagues, because I pretty much have a handle on not all of the American League, but like most of the American League. And so, this was a chance for me to learn about the NL guys and vice versa with Kelsey. So, Kels, you had the White Sox, and who did you choose for your White Sox 40-man find?
Well, I couldn't help myself, Susie. I do like the idea that we are learning more about players that we ourselves are maybe not super familiar with. But this week, I had to highlight this guy, even though I am familiar with him, because I think a lot of other fan bases might not be. And
Mhm.
he's going to be playing on a new team with the White Sox this coming season. And regardless of how he shows up on the field, I think there's a lot to know about him and appreciate about him, even from what he's done both on and off the field thus far. So there are many famous alumni of Illinois State University, from Jane Lynch to Sean Hayes to yours truly, Lori Metcalf, John Malkovich, just to name a few. But
Right.
the one that we're going to talk about today is the one who has the baseball hitting facility at Illinois State named after him, and that would be Mr. Paul Sterling DeYoung. Paul
Oh,
DeYoung,
okay.
now of the Chicago White Sox. So I had to pick him as one of the few that we know for sure also is going to definitely be playing with the White Sox next year
Yes.
at this point, right? Gotta be safe there. And before we get into his journey on the field, I want to tell you a little bit about Paul DeYoung off the field, because we all know that the White Sox are in great need of a culture shift, and they could not have found a better guy to be a part of that
Right.
and to just quietly and humbly lead by example than one Paulie D. So Paul was born in Florida, but he grew up primarily in the very northwest tip of Illinois in Antioch, Illinois, where his family moved when he was 11. And he actually grew up as an Atlanta Braves fan. But I guess like where he grew up in Florida, probably pretty close to
Okay, yeah,
Georgia.
that makes sense, yep.
Well, that works. Anyway, he graduated with a degree in biochemistry with a pre-med emphasis from Illinois
Oh,
State.
oh.
Yeah.
So he's a smart motherfucker is what
Yes.
we're saying.
Mhm.
Okay.
And he's also an avid lover of classical music. So he's been very active in philanthropic efforts for the Palm Beach Symphony over the years, which I'm assuming he, got involved with because he spent a lot of time down in Palm Beach with the A team for the low A team for the Cardinals is there, and then pretty close to spring training activities and all the training facilities down there as well.
Mhm.
In August of 2019, Paulie D hit his 22nd home run of the season off of Brewers reliever Devin Williams. And I bring this up now because it's a fun fact about one of his many charitable efforts.
Uh-huh.
In this home run, he hit the ball into the M in Big Mac land. Not sure how familiar you
Oh,
are with
uh-huh.
Busch Stadium, but into
Yep.
the upper deck there. He hit the M in Big Mac land, cracked it open, knocked the light out of it. And he decided to buy the M by donating $22,000 for his 22nd home run to Ronald McDonald House and to Cardinals Care. So he
Oh,
is
okay.
now the proud owner of that broken letter M. It's really hard to keep track of Paul's other charity work because it seems like every day he's not playing baseball, he is out in the community, but he's also never making a show of it. So from planting trees in the Forest Park area of St. Louis and donating the money to purchase all those trees and upkeep that area, to local food banks where he was literally serving meals to those in need in the St. Louis community the day he was traded to the Blue Jays. That's where he was. Can you imagine knowing, he knew at that point he's on the
Right.
trading block. Who knows what fate lies ahead, but some big change is coming, and there he is still serving his community. So he's not just a guy who throws money at causes, but he actually shows up and does the work and wants to be a part of it, which I think is really cool. So yeah, regardless of anything else, here's what I want you to know about this man. He has a biochemistry degree. He plans to attend medical school if pro ball didn't play out. Not a bad backup plan.
Right?
But, it did. So he has made multi-millions of dollars playing Major League Baseball, and he is an incredible, charitable, humble, and gracious person. So Paulie D was drafted by the Cardinals in 2015 in the 4th round. He made his big league debut in 2017, where he hit a home run in the first swing of his major league career. Pretty cool.
How do you top that? Your first
Right.
at bat be like a grand slam, I guess, but that's, I mean,
Right.
just
You got to have
downhill from
that's
there.
circumstantial. Yeah. I think he was one of only 9 Cardinal players to do that, to have a home run in his first at bat, but
Oh,
on
wow.
the literal first swing.
That's
Yeah.
crazy.
He was actually runner up. I think a lot of people don't realize this, but he was runner up to Cody Bellinger for NL Rookie of the Year that season in 2017.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Yeah, he slashed 285, 325, 532 with 65 RBIs and 25 home runs. And only one Albert Pujols actually had more home runs on the Cardinals as a rookie than Paul DeJong. In 2018, he agreed to a 6-year contract extension with St. Louis through the 2023 season. This was worth a guaranteed total of $26 million. There was lots of opportunity to make money beyond that, but he batted .261 with 13 home runs and 36 RBIs at the beginning of the 2018 season. So the first half of the season, that was well enough to get him elected to the All-Star game in Cleveland that year to represent the Cardinals.
Oh, okay.
And same season, on July 24th, they were playing the Pittsburgh Pirates at PNC Park, and he hit 3 home runs in one game, becoming the first St. Louis shortstop to ever do that.
Oh.
So he's had some big moments. This is what I think is interesting about Paul DeJong, but I still think people outside of Cardinals fans, he never really caught their attention because we're getting to like the end of the big moments, unfortunately. Right. So he also, it's worth mentioning, he also finished the 2019 season with the best fielding percentage among National League shortstops, and he was nominated for a Gold Glove that year.
Oh, okay.
After that, well, Paulie D, like many of us in 2020, he got COVID. He fractured his ribs at the beginning of the 2021 season. And I mean, I don't know if it was any number of those things combined, but he has never returned to all-star Paul DeJong form, at least at the plate. He has always remained an above average shortstop, and that definitely kept him on the field at times more often than not. But his struggles at the plate got so troublesome that he was actually demoted to AAA in May of 2022. And he stayed there until Edmundo Sosa was traded at the deadline that season. So he came back up second half of the season. He actually ends up hitting 2 home runs in his first game back against the Nats. We're like, Paul DeJong, revenge season. Here we come. And actually on August 7th, he hit his 100th career home run, which was a 3-run home run to help the Cardinals to a 12-9 win and an ultimate sweep over the New York Yankees.
Even better.
Here is where I want to sell you, Astros fans, you specifically, on Paul DeJong. In October of 2011, an 18-year-old Paul DeJong tweets, and I quote, "I hate the Yankees." All lowercase letters, no punctuation, just "I hate the Yankees."
As you should. As you should.
Right. So this tweet has been shared year over year over like 2,000 times, and many Cardinals fans have it bookmarked. It's no coincidence that Paulie D always steps up against the Yankees. And I love it even more that like he's not super active on Twitter anymore, but he's never deleted that tweet.
That's even better.
I love it.
And
he has other ones about like kind of shit talking the Yankees too, but that one is just like so simple and perfect.
That's so funny. Okay, so was he with the Giants too last season?
Oh yeah. Here, okay. I'm gonna finish up and give you the rundown of what has happened to Paul DeJong in the last 6 months, really.
Okay.
So yeah, in 2022, as I mentioned earlier, Illinois State University that named its baseball hitting facility the Paul DeJong Baseball Training Facility to recognize DeJong's financial support of Redbird Athletics and the university. And while he started 2023 on the IL, he did make his season debut in April with the Cardinals, still against the Mariners. He had 2 singles and a home run. So again, every time he's kind of come off the IL or come back up from AAA, you see signs of new life from Paulie D. He adjusted his stance a little bit this season. And actually, I mean, he was a relatively almost league average hitter. In 279 at bats. He hit 233, 297, 412 with the Cardinals in the first half of the season. But on August 1st, he was traded going into his free agent year. The Cardinals, were so tragically awful, which you're going to get to more of here soon. And they were like, all right, we're definitely not going to re-sign him at this point. And let's just let him be a part of this dump. So he was traded to the Toronto Blue Jays. And he played 13 games, only 13 unlucky games for Toronto. He was 3 for 44 with 1 RBI in that time. So they gave him such a warm welcome too. And really, I mean, he filled a hole for them because it was when Bo Bichette was like on and off the injured list. But when Bo Bichette came back a couple weeks later, DeJong was DFA'd and he was ultimately released by the end of August. Then the Giants come in August 22nd. Bam, baby. Pick up Paul DeJong, sign him to a major league contract. He makes his debut on August 23rd. In his debut for the Giants, he had 3 hits, which was as many as he had in 44 at-bats with the Blue Jays. So I guess him and Gabe Kepler just clicked and he felt a little more comfortable there. I don't know, but he had 18 games for the Giants, 1 home run, 5 RBIs. He was ultimately released by the Giants a month later. And that's how we got here with the White Sox. On November 28th, 2023, Paul DeJong signs a 1-year contract with the Chicago White Sox for $1.75 million. He does have incentives that can increase the contract by $250K when certain criteria are met. So I'm just glad to see him. You knew he was going to get an opportunity with a team, but I think with a team in the state that the White Sox is in, he has an opportunity not only to, get a little more grounded, have everyday playing time. I mean, he's going to be their starting shortstop. He just is. And like I said, he is elite defensively. There's nothing to be concerned about there. And hopefully he just has a fresh start, gets some consistency, but he is a guy to root for. Like, Cardinals fans have given him such a hard time since he fell from that 2019 season. And when you think about the type of person that he is and the way that he's handled it, like, this guy has already made like over $30 million playing baseball and he could go be a doctor. Okay. But I can't get over it. I'm like, trash talk somebody else, not this guy.
You're like, come on, guys, come on. What
So
are we doing
as much as I root for Tim Anderson as well, I really feel like Paul DeJong is like the anti-Tim Anderson, and he's going to have the opposite kind of persona and presence that Tim Anderson did at that position for the White Sox. So
no fisticuffs with Jose Ramirez is what you're saying?
No, definitely not. He would be maybe one of the last few on my list of guys to throw fists in the major leagues. So yeah, I feel pretty confident about that for him at the very least, and hopefully things pick up for him and he has a great 2024. Paul DeJong, don't sleep on him.
Don't sleep on him. That's awesome. Okay, so I do have to say, guys, if you have tuned into our YouTubes at all, you will notice that maybe a new direction, a new background, a cat on my lap. Do you see her? She's audio only people. You're gonna have to go look and see.
She's real cute. She's worth the YouTube channel.
Anyhow, so my dear lovely husband spent hours and hours of time like changing up my background and changing up all of the things for the room. But now, that hurts, tiny cat. I'm just staring at Kelsey like while she's talking to me, but you really can't tell. And it's just throwing me off. And so I'm like, I don't even know what to do here. So anyhow,
she is looking at me, I promise.
I'm like, I promise I'm looking at, like, I'm making eye contact with Kelsey, but like the way that the camera is, you can't really tell. So we'll work on that. But regardless, anyway, so side note, is Paul DeJong's mom on Twitter?
She is a real good Twitter follow. Yes. She's excellent. She engages with fans a ton. And yeah, she posts. He doesn't post a lot about himself, but she posts a lot of good pictures of him, especially with the charitable work that they do together. So
gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay.
Andrea.
I'm like,
shout out.
Did I remember seeing something about I'm like, I want to say that it was him, but there's a lot of baseball players, and
yes,
maybe I had a mistake.
And Jack Flaherty's mom are also very active on Twitter, and yeah, they're really fun to follow and provide lovely, wholesome content for us to follow along with.
Gotcha. Okay, so don't sleep on Paul DeJong on the White Sox, guys. Side note: Tim Anderson to the Angels. Book it.
Yeah, when's that going to happen? Artie, wake
well,
up, Artie.
We're gonna. I'm actually going on an Angels podcast after this. And so I will have to remind myself to say, hey, this is what's going to happen. Anyways.
Got a lot of
so my guy, I had a hard time picking a person.
There's a lot of good ones.
There's so many. And I was like, okay, do I stay true to the Asian? Do I pick Tommy Edman? Do I go Lars Nootbaar with like the pepper grinder and all of the inappropriate comments that I can make about that? Or do I pick maybe a lesser known guy? And I was like, okay, fine, lesser known guy it is. Even though Tommy Edman like had the cutest freaking baby. I say Tommy Edman, like Kirsten,
yes, his wife Kristen.
Yeah, had the freaking cutest baby. I'm sorry, Asian babies are the most fucking cutest baby ever. So it's a fact. It's a fact. So sorry. Don't get offended.
You'll hear enough about Tommy Edman on this podcast without us featuring him, though. I recently declared I had to pick a favorite current player, and I picked him. So
is it Tommy? Oh,
like, I've committed to that now. I said it. So I gotta like roll with it for a while.
Okay.
Yeah.
I'll remind you of that fact. But I absolutely love Tommy Edman. I mean, like mainly because he's half Korean. But yeah. So, but I didn't pick Tommy Edman. I didn't.
Who did you pick? I'm dying to know.
Roll call. That's not a roll call. Drum roll. Dylan Carlson.
Oh, DC3.
Yes.
Good one.
So, funny enough though, you know, your guy was a finalist for Rookie of the Year in 2017. My guy, finalist for Rookie of the Year. Not in 2017, obviously. I want to say it was in 2021. So I'll have to look back at my notes on that. Because I had to old school write my notes down. So, anyways, Dylan Carlson was drafted by the Cardinals in the first round, 33rd pick overall in 2016. And by 2019, he represented the Cardinals in the Futures game, along with Nolan Gorman. Which was also,
I thought
that was another one that I was like, do I pick Nolan Gorman?
I'm a huge Norm fan.
Yeah. So, but he debuted COVID year, August 15th, 2020. He debuted, and then he hit his first home run August 23rd off of a no-name reliever named Nate Jones of the Reds. And I thought I was plugged into like most of all of the relievers. Have not a clue who Nate Jones is of the Reds. Like you could put a gun to my head and like, nope, sorry, I can't give you any sort of description of Nate Jones. So anyways, I was like, okay, cool. Don't know ball. Love it. Anyhow, so that was, in 2020, the COVID year, obviously shortened, but in 2021, he was the center fielder after Harrison Bader got hurt.
Yes.
Now you may remember Harrison Bader. You're like, wait a minute, Harrison Bader, he was on the Yankees. Yeah, but before that, he had lovely locks and he was on the Cardinals. So, in 21, he took over center field, and then when Harrison Bader returned, he moved over to right field, and then April 17th of 2021, he hit his first grand slam off of Zach Pop of the Miami Marlins in Lone Depot Park. So, good on you over there. Fun fact, in 2021, he was the National League Rookie of the Year finalist along with Jonathan India and Trevor Rogers. So sorry, Jonathan India. How far you fallen off? Apparently everyone's fallen off. Like, I don't know what's going on here.
Yeah, isn't that weird? It just shows what a tough game this is, not just over 162, but year over year. You can't take it for granted. And it's why it's absolute insanity, literal insanity to sign anyone, let alone a pitcher, to a 12-year deal. But we're not there yet, Susie.
We're not there yet. We're not there yet. We will be there. We will. But he finished 2021 season with 542 ABs over 149 games. He slashed 266, 343 with a slug of 437. He had 18 home runs, batted in 65, and had 31 doubles. And in the start of the 2022 season, he was the starting right fielder for the Cardinals. Now, if you aren't super plugged into the Cardinal system, they basically have an outfield gluttony, like just so many people that can play the outfield. They don't know what to do with them, and then they just like rotate them all in like this carousel.
Yes. Yeah. Dylan Carlson is a victim of that.
Yeah. So Dylan in 22, in late May, he had a hamstring injury, unfortunately. And then it was reactivated. And fun fact, in June of that year, he was the last of 4 consecutive home runs hit.
Yeah.
Between Nolan Arenado, Nolan Gorman, Juan Yepes, known power hitter Juan Yepes, and then obviously our boy Dylan Carlson, all in the first inning with 2 outs against Phillies starter Kyle Gibson.
Yeah. Against guess who?
Yeah, Kyle Gibson. Do you think that will be a talking point in the locker room?
Oh,
This
100%.
upcoming
Especially
season?
considering I've heard that Kyle Gibson, is a great clubhouse guy. I'm sure he's gonna just break the ice with it if he hasn't already.
That's a backbreaker. Like, all with 2 outs, and then you hit 4 consecutive home runs? Like, okay, so Nolan Arenado, yes,
Fine,
got it.
totally.
Okay.
Yep.
Yeah.
Nolan Gorman,
Yeah, Nolan
literal
Gorman,
known
okay,
power hitter.
also. But then, like, Juan Yepes?
Juan Yepes, Cardinals legend. He scored the only run in the postseason for the Cardinals in 2022.
See, it's one of
Sometimes
those.
he does
So,
it.
yeah, in 23, however, he only played 76 games. He ended the season slashing 219, 318, and 333 with 5 home runs. He had 27 RBIs and 3 stolen bases. August 1st, unfortunately, he hit the IL with a left oblique strain. Those obliques are very tricky. I don't know because I don't have any, but I hear they're a bitch to work out. And then a left ankle injury. So did something happen like with his left side, or like what?
I mean, quite possibly. There wasn't like a specific injury, but he had been having trouble with the ankle on and off for a long time. And it ultimately became like when the Cardinals were out of it at this point, and there really wasn't a spot for him every day anyway.
Right.
It was like, you know what, go get that taken care of and get better during the off season. So,
yeah. So September 13th, unfortunately, Ollie Marmol said, Dylan Carlson, out you go, because you're gonna have season-ending ankle surgery. So apparently he has been assigned, quote unquote, the 4th outfielder role this upcoming season.
Has he?
So
I have no idea. I guess that sounds right.
that tracks. So I honestly, I kind of see him as a trade piece at this point. Like,
He is for sure. Yeah.
I mean, what are you doing? I mean, granted, Dylan Carlson, great like depth bench piece.
Absolutely. But free Dylan
mean,
Carlson, because he should be a starter.
Yeah.
For even a team like the Mariners, honestly.
Yeah.
He's a switch hitter. He is one of the smartest fielders. Like, he doesn't have necessarily the natural athleticism that even like a Tyler O'Neill would have, and that's a lot of reason why he got just kind of used and abused. And a lot of what happens with those outfielders is how they're utilized really stunts their potential.
Right.
And that is very much what has happened with him. And I mean, there was even interviews like mid-season with him this year where he was like, how do you feel about how you've been utilized and what's going on? And he was like, I mean, it hurts. And people were like, Dylan Carlson is crying. And I'm like, okay, listen, he's a very like soft-spoken, gentle human. Him and Paul DeYoung have similar vibes for sure. But he's obviously super talented and has like great raw potential that he's worked very hard and smartly to hone. His dad, I don't know if you read anything about this, but his dad was his coach
in high school.
All through high school.
Yep. Yeah. Those were my fun facts.
Oh, sorry.
Yes. Jeez, Kelsey, stop trying to steal my information. No, I'm just kidding. Yeah. So in high school, he played for his dad in Elk Grove, California, and he started varsity as a 14-year-old. 14-year-old.
Crazy.
Yeah, on varsity. His senior year, he ended with a .407 batting average, hitting 9 home runs, 40 RBIs in 36 games. And I didn't know this. He was a pitcher. He pitched.
I didn't know that.
He pitched. He ended his season.
Where's his 12-year deal?
6-0. 6-0 with a 1.44 ERA.
Wake up, Mo! Get this guy on the trade block. Let's go.
Like, I mean, come on now. He's got the arm apparently. So yeah, unfortunately, he does not have a college degree because he decided to sign with the Cardinals. Got a $1.335 million signing bonus, which was $550,000 under slot value. But because he did that, he rescinded his college acceptance to Cal State Fullerton. So no, I mean, I say no medical degree. I don't know that. Like, as of right now, he will not, get a medical degree.
I mean, he also has like 3 years of service in the major leagues, and he's only 23 years old. So I think he'll be okay. But
he's fine. He's fine. But maybe afterwards. I don't know. Maybe afterwards he's get a medical degree or something. But no college for Dylan Carlson. Just a fourth outfield role at this point in time for the St. Louis Cardinals.
Yeah, I just don't think that he's going to get an opportunity to really shine because they've got their guys. And I don't know, there were a lot of people, like a lot of Cardinals fans lobbying really hard for him to be the everyday starting center fielder last year. But, they wanted to give Tyler O'Neill a shot out there. They have Lars Nootbaar out there. Now Tommy Edman is out there, even though he never played the position a day in his life until like August of 2023. And he is probably going to be, Tommy Edman will probably be the starting center fielder. And then Nootbaar in left, Walker in right. But yeah, I mean, he's only 23. He has a proven enough track record in the major leagues that I absolutely think that he would be of good trade value and just of better use. The same way as I said, Tyler O'Neill, like sometimes you're just going to be appreciated better and have better opportunities somewhere else. But because they've got, like you said, Alec Burleson, Richie Palacios. There's so many guys I like.
There is a gluttony.
Even with getting rid of Tyler O'Neill, there's still
so many.
There's so many.
I had Dylan Carlson and Alec Burleson as like rotating DHs on my fantasy league at one point in time.
Oh yikes! I mean, Alec Burleson like never strikes out, so that might have worked.
It was a whole thing. I was like, which Cardinal outfielder do I want today? So those are our 40-man finds. Come back next week. If I were more prepared, I would tell you who and which teams we would be covering next week, but I'm not that prepared, and so I don't have that information handy. But that's okay.
It'll be our first one, of the new year.
Yeah. So come back and be surprised along with us. So, but we're just going to jump just straight into all of the hot stove news real quick. And we're not going to spend a ton of time on this because we really want to get to all of the meaty things that I know that everybody really wants to get to. So again, we're not going to spend too much time on this. And there's been a lot of hot stove moves that we omitted. So we're just going to name the big ones. Okay. So Braves released left-handed infielder DH Matt Carpenter. Obviously, we all knew that was going to happen. Poor Matt Carpenter.
Matt Carp.
One thing of note, though, since the Braves released him, basically DFA'd him, any other major league team can pick him up and just pay him the minimum salary of like $720,000.
Yeah,
because the Braves have to pick up $4 million of his contract, and the Padres have to pick up the remaining 1.5. So, I mean, someone's got to take a chance on him. I mean, veteran leadership.
Carpenter, he's going to get paid either way, and that's important.
So, Cincinnati Reds, I don't know.
And I think even like Mariners, even D-backs. Like I'm really still pulling for Jorge Soler to be like that power bat for the
D-backs. Yeah.
D-backs. Obviously, he's going to be a lot more consistent than maybe a Matty Carp, but I mean, he's still got it, man, and you cannot beat his presence.
No, cannot be that presence. And then at some point in time that he had that magical like run with the Yankees when he came back. I mean, for his slash line for that 2022 season, I think he ended up slugging like over 700, like 727. I think his slash lines were 305, 412, and 727. A 727 slug. I'm like, I'm sorry, wait, what? Yeah. So that 22 Yankee season, somewhere deep down in there. So
I just want to say that when the Braves posted this, I retweeted it and I said in all caps, "Wake up, Mo," which is like the Cardinals fan base's favorite thing to say
right.
to John Mozeliak, the president of baseball ops. And let me just say, I've never used that phrase seriously in my life. It's not really my ammo, but I got berated by middle-aged men for the next like 3 days because they thought I was serious that the Cardinals should re-sign Matt Carpenter. So anyway, 1-day contract to retire as a
Right.
Cardinal. I'd be totally down for it. Otherwise, I'm never using the phrase "Wake up, Mo." Seriously.
Ever
But
you're
thank
like,
you.
"Oh, I'm sorry. Did I forget to use my sarcastic tone font?" Like,
One
what?
yes, one person told me that I shouldn't be allowed to watch baseball if I felt that way. So, I've had my baseball watching license revoked, Susie, which at this point,
Oh,
I
dear.
might be okay with.
If if the menfolk know that we can have witchcraft, it's okay. Anyways,
Anyway, but yeah, we can't go too deep down that rabbit hole.
yeah.
Oh, you hear
Uh,
me.
yeah. Well, we'll talk about the Mets though. We'll talk about the Mets, and they picked up right-handed relief pitcher Johan Ramirez from the White Sox, who got DFA'd last week. They also picked up right-handed pitcher Adrian Hauser and outfielder Tyrone Taylor from the Brewers. Like, are they doing it? Are the Brewers gonna just implode on themselves? Let's see.
I
Let's see.
think they have to at this point. Like, they've gotta trade Corbin Burns, right? They've got to. I'm just waiting for it.
Fingers
Not that I
crossed.
want that for the Brewers. I mean, I should. I don't, like, have a disdain towards the Brewers. It's really weird, right? Because the Brewers are obviously in the division the same as the Cubs are, and there have been more successful overall, at least more recently, than the Cubs. But I still am just way less threatened by them. I'm way less upset to see them do well.
Yeah,
So I don't wish anything bad against the Brewers. But yeah, I also just think at this point it's like time to dismantle and
and kind of
call it
rebuild.
a rebuild. Yeah.
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 Yeah, I don't know. Corbin Burns, Willie Adames, I mean, Yelly, like I think
Yeah, they
Devin Williams could get you a big haul. I'm
I
just
played for Devin Williams, NB. Yeah.
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 Brewers babes are gonna listen to this and just shake their fists at
I
us. I'm
know.
so
I
sorry.
know.
Lisa and Aaron, we still love you. We love
Yeah,
you.
we love you.
Yeah. Anyhow, but yeah, so the Mets picked them up, and in return, they received Coleman Crow, a minor league pitcher, I believe.
It's a great name.
We'll see how that turns out. The Giants, poor Giants. They're the semi pretty girl that apparently nobody picks.
They're like literally the girl that like can't even get picked to be a bridesmaid at this point.
Yeah, she's like me over here. What? I'll do it. No,
Never a
oh, you
bride, never
don't want
even a
me. You don't
bridesmaid.
want me either. I don't know. So I don't know. Apparently the Giants are like, sorry, y'all. But they picked up a right-handed relief pitcher, Devin Sweet, off of waivers from the Athletics. They also signed catcher Tom Murphy, so they have a backup to Pat Bailey now. So yay for you, maybe. I don't.
You're
Hopefully,
jealous.
I don't know how you guys feel about that, Giants. Also, my computer screen is going crazy, and I am just now finally getting my arrow to where it needs to be to get the scrolly thing. So, if you saw the mild panic in my eyes, that's why. Yeah. So they signed catcher Tom Murphy for 2 years, $8.25 million. They picked up outfielder TJ Hopkins from the Reds. And it'll be interesting to see what happens over there. They have a left-handed hitting lineup that's very heavy, like left-handers,
Oh
and
yeah, they
so
do.
it'll be interesting to see who is where now because they have Michael Conforto and Mikey Stremsky in the corners. Obviously, you know they're big signing. They're big signing. They did. Someone actually did pick them at some point in time. You know, Jung Hoo Lee was like, "Hey, I'll I'll dance with you,
And
Giants. I'll
he
dance."
has a really great dog, so that's a
Yeah,
win too, Giants.
Pomeranian is freaking adorable.
Really.
So, but yeah, so it'll be Mikes in the corners and Jung-Hoo Lee in center field. But TJ can play all 3 positions. So he's at like 4th outfield depth, kind of rotating in and out. They also have like Mitch Haniger also out there. So I think he's going to slot into the DH role. I don't know, but
yeah, he DH'd most of the time last season, I think.
Yeah. So we'll see what happens over there for the Giants. The Pirates sign left-handed pitcher Martin Perez, excuse me. 1 year, $8 million. This one really kind of surprised me because I was about to say the Rays, good night. The Rangers need starting pitching, but like I guess they're happy with what they're gonna roll with. So they said,
right, and he started a number of games for the Rangers last year, right?
Yes.
So yeah, he would have been a great slot in for that first half again.
Yep. But then like fell off, and he got put into the bullpen after they signed Jay Money and Max Scherzer. But I'm really surprised that they didn't work something out with him. But I guess the Pirates needed someone to back up Mitch Keller. They also he's gonna be that like depth piece with Marco Gonzalez. So we'll see what the Pirates, because the Pirates are brewing over there, and Kels, we definitely need some sort of like Andrew McCutchen something or another.
Oh yeah, we do. Yeah, we're gonna be looking through. Send us your Andrew McCutchen merch suggestions because we're committed to. I am also committed to Lourdes Gurriel Jr. merch now that he has signed with the Diamondbacks for the foreseeable future. But we want to get matching Andrew McCutchen merch. So tell us, there's a lot of good brands, a lot of good stuff out there. What do we
link
need?
us?
We're big Kutch fans over here.
Drop us the links. Also, can I just say that I freaking love that Kutch loves it in Pittsburgh?
Yeah.
Like, that makes me so happy. That makes me so happy. So obviously, like, veteran presence. Last season, obviously he's going to be the DH. Unfortunately, last season he tore his Achilles.
Yeah.
And like before he could hit his 300th home run, like he stopped at 299.
Literally
like,
299.
Oh, no. So it'll be really fun to see that team this season. So I'm excited about that. Padres signed somebody. They signed a closer.
Somebody I wanted the Cardinals to sign, but of course they did.
Yeah. They signed a closer. They signed closer Yuki Matsui from the NPB. Has a sub-2 ERA. And when I say sub-2, I mean he had a 1.42 ERA, Kels. Is that good? I don't. Is that I think that's good. I'm not sure because I don't know ball, but yeah. He had a 36.4% strikeout rate over 152 innings. So all the Japanese peoples, come on over. Just play all of the balls.
I think he's somebody who would have been getting a lot more media attention had there not been 2 other Japanese players taking up the majority of that narrative. But yeah, he is an exciting player to watch for sure.
I'll be keeping an eye out on that, especially since, obviously the Padres are losing Josh Hader. I say losing, like we don't know. Maybe the Padres will re-sign Josh Hader. I don't think they will.
I think he's Matsui is probably a better fit, better and wiser investment for where they are at currently.
Yes. Yeah. So we're gonna hit on these rule changes, guys. I'm so mad about these rule changes.
I'm gonna drink.
I'm so mad about these rule changes. So the MLBPA apparently proposed these changes, and all of the players that sat on the MLBPA panels were like, "No, thank you. We don't want
to." MLB proposed them to the players, and the players were like, "Yeah, but why?"
Yeah, we don't want that. No, thank you. How about I don't know, if you want to increase likability of the game, if you want to increase participation views, I don't know. How about we end up in blackouts?
Yeah,
could that be a thing?
More accessible.
Can that be a thing? No, you want to reduce the pitch clock again?
Yeah,
that's your
again and a few more ads.
Yeah, that certainly is a choice. So the pitch clock will be reduced from 20 seconds to 18 seconds. Mound visits
on base. So it's still 15 seconds with no one on base, 18 seconds with runners on base. Like 2 seconds, Susie. What?
Yeah, it's dumb. It's dumb. We're gonna go into more detail about
Okay.
each of these
Okay.
in just a second, but yeah. Mound visits, only 4 now, because apparently mound visits were a problem. Yeah, the 24 times that it happened, that a team used all of their mound visits, apparently that was an issue. The runner's lane is widened to include the dirt between the foul line and the infield grass. Now this one I could kinda see. I'm like, "Okay,
Yeah.
alright," like, I get that one. And the last one is the pitcher who is sent to warm up for an inning must face at least 1 batter. Was this such an issue that we needed to create a new rule
I'm
for it?
confused about what this rule is.
So apparently this happened, quote unquote. Um, I want to say like 12 times, I think was the stat that I read or something. So
Okay.
basically the pitcher comes out like to the warning track dirt or whatever, and then the other team sends out like so they see like
Oh, they,
whoever
like,
is gonna
counter
come
it.
in, so then
Mhm.
they counter, and
Mhm.
then they're like, "Oh, just kidding, we're gonna counter again." Like,
Okay.
that happened, like, 12 times, and apparently MLB was like, no, no, we're not doing that." Fuck. What? Why? Again,
Yeah,
end
that's the
blackouts.
biggest thing with all of these is that they're one, we just did a big overhaul, which, like, whatever, for as much shit and whatever you wanted to have your opinion about the rule changes before this 2023 season, overall, they seemed to work out well, not jarringly, drastically changing anything. Fine, whatever. We all
Right.
adjusted. We got used to it. But why now are we're going to change again? And it seems like just for the sake of being like, yeah, let's like change some little nitpicky things,
Yeah.
which is not attractive as a fan at all. It's very off-putting regardless of what it is to be like, wait, you're going to change something again and it's like so ridiculously nuanced that it literally doesn't matter. Yeah, exactly. Like, what are they doing? What work are they actually doing to grow the game to make it more accessible? Because that is the number one issue that it doesn't take any kind of law degree or billions of dollars to figure out. So,
Yeah. Um, it certainly is a choice. Certainly is a choice to, quote, unquote, "grow the game," and yet, everybody's screaming, like, "End blackouts." Here, how about we shave 2 more seconds off of the pitch clock instead? No, that doesn't make you happy? No? Okay. Like, what are we doing here? Rob Manfred, shut the fuck up.
Rob, what's happening? Tell us. Yeah, I don't like want to be a Rob Manfred hater, but he's making it hard with stuff like this.
Yeah, I mean, like, I don't want to, but it's it's quite easy to do because like, what the fuck? And the fact that, like, all of the players were like, "No, thank you. We don't want that."
Right, and if the
But
players can't see value in it, if you
yeah,
can't get the player buy-in, like, that's huge.
I mean, as fans, we can say, "That's stupid" all day long. It's not gonna affect our life, but you're not gonna take into account the people that it is going to affect, like
Right, because honestly, the pitch clock, like, I wasn't, like, super anti-pitch clock, I wasn't, like, really upset about it, but I definitely was like, "This seems a little ridiculous," and in terms of, like, actually physically being at the game, I'm worried about how it's gonna affect that experience, and it still kinda does in a way that
yeah,
I don't love, but the thing that got me to shut up about it was the fact that all the players, like, don't have any issue with it, and except for Max Scherzer, which is really Scott Boras, don't get me started. Um, but no, the players do not take an issue with it, and if anything, they kind of like it, so that's where I was like, "Alright, cool, I'm on board
yeah.
then."
Yeah, I don't know. I think the next CBA like revision panel that they're going to do, I think this is going to be a big sticking point
Yeah.
that they're like, "Oh, you're not going to take into our opinions into consideration because you guys carry most of the seats." Cool. Let's revisit that. Like I feel
Right.
like that's going to be a
Yeah.
big.
I mean, the way that it even works is such a joke. They never put anything to a vote that they don't know is gonna work out the way they want it to anyway.
Yeah.
It's such a joke.
Yeah. So, we'll see, I guess all of that, what's gonna happen next season, so
I mean, part of me is like, I mean, whatever, it's not gonna change that much, but that's the whole point.
yeah,
Like, way to make it obvious that this is what you're spending your time on, instead of, again, spending time on advocating for accessibility for the fans who you make money off of. Like, you want to make more money? There is definitely some missed opportunity, but it's not with those 2 seconds on the fucking pitch clock.
Exactly. So, we'll see how all of that shakes down, because I feel like at this point, especially like those pitchers that take that like a one extra breath, or that it's gonna take that like one extra breath away from them, like from Valdez.
Lance Lynn, oh God.
Yeah. Like, what are you doing here? It's just it's going to cause even that much more like turmoil, like mental turmoil, um, in the pitchers' brains, along with my brain. But whatever. My brain doesn't fucking matter. So
yeah, I mean, Framber Valdez is just one example. Craig Kimbrell is another guy that just comes to mind off the top of my head, who, like, they have very different process and perform very differently when they're a men on base versus not. So
yeah,
I totally agree. It's just another thing that's like, I know it seems minuscule, 2 seconds. Then if it's minuscule, it doesn't matter.
exactly.
Like,
I feel like the pitch clock this past season got rid of what you wanted it to get rid of, right? Like the excessive like nut grabbing and like let me
shorten up
change
that Soto shuffle. Let's go.
Yeah. Like let me redo my batting gloves 43 times and like adjust my helmet, like okay, like granted, when I first started watching baseball, I was very curious on like why they had to do the things every single time.
Yeah.
That was like literally a question. And Mike's like, that's what they do. That's their process. And I'm all,
consistency.
It's a dumb process. Like, why? What's the deal? So like, whatever, I get it now. But so now what are you gonna do? It's just it's so dumb. Anyways,
how are you in terms of rules, Susie? Are you a rule follower? Do you like rules in general?
In general,
Yeah.
In general, I'm like a rule follower-ish.
Okay.
But overall, I want to say I'm like fuck the rules, but let's just be really honest. I'm an Asian kid, and so rules have been just hammered into my brain. So
I'm like very rule oriented. I love rules, I would say, like, generally, but I am also the first person to question rules when there is no sense behind them. And like, if you can, so if someone from Major League Baseball, Rob, give me a call. Rob, if you're listening, let me know why this is necessary, what difference this is going to make. Because if you can, I'm also like, I'm an open vessel. I'm not stuck on any one opinion. I'm always willing to hear a different opinion. I would love to be proven wrong, or to, have my perspective widen. So please, if there's somebody out there who can tell us what the purpose, what the value for the game is in these new rules, I'm here for it. I want to know.
Yeah.
I'm listening.
Astro Wharf Craig says pitchers need to do more cardio.
Pitchers have to do a lot of things, a lot of other things though, too.
Yeah. I won't say that, pitchers aren't athletes, because that's not a thing, but maybe, I feel like do you think that maybe that's why Alek Manoah was just so ridiculously bad this season, was the pitch clock
quite
and
possibly.
not?
I don't think it's as simple as their cardiovascular state. I think there's a lot more behind the full body mechanics than just their cardiovascular ability.
Yeah, don't sign me up for cardio.
Someone who's into all that stuff. Yeah, don't sign me up for cardio.
Don't do that. I know. No, thank you.
I did cardio today, and I'm really proud of myself because I do not like it. But no, I just don't think it's as simple as that. I think it is more about the routine, honestly. And like you said, like all those little things that they do, because that's what baseball is. It's a game of consistency, and those routines and those, what's the word I'm looking for? Like, it's really like they're rituals.
Oh,
that is what they are to them. And I think to have to change something that you have been doing, and think some of them have probably been doing it similarly since they were like 12, 13 years old.
Yeah.
So to have to change anything like that can throw you off in a way that it's really hard to understand if, if you're not familiar with everything that goes behind that movement and the execution of that in your body. So I could see where just the timing and having to change every little thing that they're doing is just as much a part of it as their heart rate.
Yeah. We'll see. One person who we'll see how this all affects them, along with all of the other things coming into a brand new league, will do is Yamamoto.
Did he sign anywhere yet?
No, I don't think he did. I mean,
I guess we'll have to wait till after Christmas.
Yeah.
All right. Good.
Fucking Dodgers. Yeah, unfortunately, if you did not pick up on our sarcastic tone, the Yoshinobu Yamamoto signed for 12 years and $375 million.
325.
Yes.
Don't ask me why I know that off the top of my head. I'm just
and
watched way too much content on this.
It's this is just balls, just so insane to me that they gave a 12-year contract to a pitcher. Now, granted, he is 25 years old. So, from that angle, like, okay, I get it. And he is a 3-time oh,
he's won like the Japanese equivalent of the Cy Young.
Yeah, Cy Young, Kawamura, there we go. However, it's not like our Cy Young, like every year someone wins the Cy Young. Over there, if you are not like exceptional, if there's not any pitchers that are like exceptional,
no one wins.
No one wins it. So you gotta be a straight up badass motherfucker in order to like win the Kawamura. And he has won it 3 different times.
Japanese kids aren't getting any participation trophies, huh?
Oh no. I don't know if you know this, but the Japanese are of the Asian culture, and they don't give a fuck about participation trophies over there. No. If you're they epitomized if you ain't first, you're last. Okay, like that came from the Asians, not Ricky Bobby and Talladega Nights. No. Why? I mean, I know why.
There's a lot of things. There's like a lot to unpack here. There's too many things I dislike about it that I like don't know where to start. The 12 years is a good place to start.
Yeah.
It's the longest contract. It's the largest contract. He beat Garrett Cole's longest contract or largest contract by $1 million. So like that's definitely something Joel Wolf was going in for the kill for, and he got it.
Right.
Great. But yeah, I mean, I totally agree. I have been as impressed and following Yamamoto as anybody, but the fact that he would get more money than someone who was as established as Garrett Cole already was in the league when he signed that deal, or like anyone at this point. I mean, you think as the other pitchers and especially the other pitchers who are free agents right now, to some extent, he's going to help them because now they have to get overpaid by the Mets or the Phillies or the Yankees or whoever. But it's still got to be kind of hard to swallow and just know that there's so much else at play there that ultimately led to that decision. And I don't know. I kind of had to get over this after last year with all of the shortstops getting these 10 and 12-year deals of like, clearly he's not going to pitch. He's certainly not going to pitch like an ace. He's probably not going to pitch at all in year 12 of that deal, like if we're being real. Right. But can you even think of anyone in recent times, in this century, like in the 2000s, who has been an ace or even been successful, like a top 20 starting pitcher in the league for like 5+ years in a row? There really isn't anyone.
I mean, really the only one that comes to mind is like Justin Verlander. I mean, and I say that not only as like an Astros fan, but I mean, even when he was, with the Tigers, like he was
Yeah. So, I mean,
You know?
Verlander, Scherzer. I mean, Wainwright had a decent stretch of time too, but longer than like 5 to 7 years, maybe at the very most. And they are, I would say, Wainwright, Scherzer, Verlander. Not that I'm saying Wainwright is there with Scherzer and Verlander. I get it. Or even Kershaw. But they are a dying breed of pitcher in
Yeah.
themselves. So I don't know. Part of me
I
is like, but why are we even talking about this? This has nothing to do with him actually pitching well for, I mean, I think it would for at least 7 or 8 years though of
Yeah.
that 12-year deal.
Yeah. Well, you know, again, it's gonna be really interesting to see what happens this in this season, first
Yeah.
off, because you know, they pitch the in the NPB, one, it's a different ball.
Oh, I don't think
Completely.
I knew that.
Yeah, it's a different ball. It is slightly smaller, and by slightly, I mean, like, centimeters smaller, but
Mhm.
the seams are totally different as well.
Okay.
Um, Also, they pitch every 6 days, not every
I
5.
Yeah.
And
And there are
so
certain pitchers that come over here that have stayed that way, right? I think Yu Darvish is one of them that, like, he still starts
yeah,
almost regularly every 6th day.
and I mean, Shohei, but then obviously 'cause unicorn. But that was one of Kodai Senga's, like, big,
Mm.
sticking points was, you know, that's why he struggled because he was tired, like, he wasn't used to pitching every 5 days. So, it'll be really interesting to see if Yamamoto can overcome all of that, I guess. Um, you know, he is a smaller, quote, unquote,
He is. He's
pitcher.
a
I
little
mean
guy for a pitcher.
yeah.
Mhm.
I mean, you know, shout out Short Kings, and I say Short Kings, like, in the grand scheme of things for baseball players, for pitchers, he is. He's short, he's small, he's like 5'10", you know,
Mhm.
which I guess, you know, if you trust all of the baseball things, it really means he's like 5'8". Like, you know,
Right.
so, the picture of him standing next to, Shohei is just kinda cracks me up because
Yeah,
it's
you can
like
tell. That's
yeah,
a good source there
yeah,
to see exactly what we're talking about. But yeah, just like we were talking about with the nuances of something like 2 seconds on the pitch clock and stuff like that, when you are executing at this elite of a level, something like an extra day or one less day of rest or the seams being different on the ball, like there's also a lot of proven track record of success of these pitchers coming over and adapting very, rather quickly, relatively well. I get that, but it's still definitely something that you have to take into consideration, not the same way that you would with someone
yeah,
who has an established record in the major leagues. So,
yeah. But apparently, you know, it was said that he took multiple meetings, like, he asked for multiple meetings, with the Yankees, with the Dodgers, with the Mets. You know, Steve Cohen went over to Japan.
oh, Steve. No one listen, I'm pretty sad about this. I'm pretty bummed about this. We're pretty mad about it, but no one is butthurt quite like Steve Cohen is today.
Yeah.
Oh man.
Yeah, I not gonna lie, like, I mean, like we texted last night, I was really, really surprised, that Steve Cohen wasn't like, 335, anybody? 350? Like, what's it gonna take? Name your price.
I mean, clearly Yamamoto didn't really want to pitch for the Mets, and he was
Yeah.
using them as leverage
Yep.
to max out with. I mean, Joel Wolf knew exactly what he was doing. I'm telling you that 325 was written on his war room wall. Like, this is what we're getting. And he went and did it. And I guess good for him. But yeah, no, he was playing Steve Cohen all the way.
Oh, yeah.
Because when you're the wealthiest owner in the league, there is absolutely this sense of like you should go out and be able to buy whichever player you want. And that's what I hate about Steve Cohen and what I hated about the Mets and why I will like now the Dodgers are my new Mets. But
Yeah.
I don't feel bad for Steve Cohen. Don't get me wrong. I never will. But man, I can only imagine like now he needs to go to therapy too, along with these Dodgers owners who just cannot put their fragile egos back together from the D-backs just stomping on it, snaking around them, squeezing
Right?
all that ego out of them. And so they had to go out and spend all this money.
Yeah. Yeah, they said, just kidding. We will not be swept again by a sub 90 win team.
Because clearly spending over $1 billion in the offseason guarantees that you're going to win the division. Oh, wait. So that's part 2, I guess, that I
Yeah.
really need to go off about this is the thing that makes me mad about teams like the Mets, the Dodgers, the Padres. I was like
Yeah.
very anti-Padres last season is I hate the idea. Like it's this idea that there is a shortcut to the ring, there is a shortcut to winning anything. I mean, this goes for anything in life that you can like buy your way in.
Right.
And you can buy the ring. And in other sports, I think that applies a lot more, which is why salary caps are much more important in other sports. So I'm not here to say there needs to be a salary cap because I do not believe that that having the highest payroll, I mean, it is proven. It is not a surefire way to even get into the postseason. Hello, Yankees, Padres, Mets, 2023, let
Yeah.
alone to win in the postseason. Dodgers, case in
Yeah.
point. So part of me is like, that's where I think we need to articulate our annoyance a little bit more as fans. Cause like, I'm not annoyed thinking the Dodgers are going to be so much better and like, we never have a chance to win and everybody's screwed. They're a super team. No, I don't even think they're going to win the division every year that they have
Right.
Shohei Ohtani and Yamamoto. Honestly, even half the years, they might not even win the division. I wouldn't be surprised. I am annoyed because I want to see the critical thinking. I want to see the team building. I want to see the athleticism and like the actual critical thinking
Mhm.
have to happen, the team building behind the sport. Like that's what we love about it. And that's what's fun about watching it.
Yep.
And going out and just spending the most money. Like, yeah, they're going to make all of that money and way, way, way fucking more that they are spending just on these 2 guys, let alone all the other guys on their roster. That's why they're doing it.
Mhm.
And I guess at the end of the day, does it matter if they win? No, because people are going to pay that much to come see these guys play anyway.
Yeah. They basically have now just um solidified the Japanese fan base. Like
Yeah,
the Japanese fan base is like now that they're not like, "Oh, so we have to figure out, are we going to be a Mets fan because of Kodai Senga, or are we going to be a Dodgers fan because of Shohei Ohtani and
right.
Yamamoto? Oh, and don't even get me started about like the Boston Red Sox. Like Boston Red Sox are even like an afterthought
Yeah.
over here. Like, okay, but so the Dodgers are just like, okay, we have just now commandeered Japan, all of Japan. Come on, let's go. Like the streaming rights, all of the ad revenue, it's going to be fucking insane. Um, but my question now is, how many World Series is, you know what I'm trying to say. Do the Dodgers
World
have to
Series.
win? Yeah. In order for these ridiculous fucking contracts to not matter. 2? 3?
Yeah, I would say anything less than 2 is definitely. I mean, the thing is though, like that's what you would say, I guess, in terms of what? Because I know obviously the revenue that they can make in the postseason and as a World Series team is beyond vomit worthy, but like they are still it's worth the investment.
Right.
Is it worth it from a fan standpoint of people for like, is this about winning or is this about making money? It's about making money. And yes, winning sometimes makes you more money, but you don't necessarily have to win to make money. And that's what this is all about. They have found they're like, this is the actual loophole. You think we're looking for the loophole to win. No, we're just looking for the loophole to make more money. And that's way more guaranteed than getting into the playoffs over 162 and especially once you're in the playoffs in baseball. So I don't think the Dodgers are really that invested. Like their number one goal in that room together, the front office, is not to win. It is to
Yeah.
make the most money. Of course it is. And you're kidding yourself if you think anything other than that.
Yeah. And
Were you
that's
surprised that Yamamoto signed with the same team as Ohtani?
yes and no. A part of me thought that he would try and be like the quote unquote superstar, right?
Yeah.
But then the other part of me is saying, okay, if he's as competitive as we all know that like most Japanese players are, he's gonna want to win and not win in like a year or 2 years. Like he's gonna want to win kind of like now. And unfortunately, the three teams that were vying for his attention, quote unquote, Dodgers, Yankees, Mets, it's unfortunately the Dodgers. Like
Yeah.
that has the best track record. The Mets are a hot mess.
Yeah.
Mets fans, I love you. You all know this, but you yourselves know that the Mets organization is just a steaming pile of garbage right
Yeah,
now.
they
Like,
only know how to spend money
yeah,
right now. The Dodgers organization overall is very well run, don't get me wrong, like, I have that perspective, I have the respect for them, I'm just
yeah,
saying when it comes right down to it, if you
yeah,
had to pick, if you could make more money but
yeah,
not win the World Series,
yeah,
would you?
yeah.
Yes, every
Yeah.
fucking time.
Now I will say that I did get a perverse little slice of satisfaction um knowing that he did not sign with the Yankees, but it was also tempered with the fact that he signed with the Dodgers instead. And I was like,
Yeah.
"Damn it!" But it is what it is at this point.
Yeah, I think I honestly am a little more annoyed that he signed with the Dodgers even than the Mets. If you had asked me a month ago, I would have said Mets would be like the worst case scenario for me, but now seeing how again, I don't know if I wanna use my same not even a bridesmaid metaphor, but I don't know. What is like, I feel like Steve Cohen is probably, like, having some major, like, PTSD, like, flashbacks to, like, the kid in the back corner of private school that nobody wanted to play with because that's what's happening here, and it's
Yeah.
like, all the money in the world can't buy
Still.
you the winning culture, baby.
Yeah.
I don't know, but yeah, now if the Dodgers had not signed Otani, I would feel differently about this. I still would be annoyed, but I would not be to the extent that I am now of like, this is just ridiculous. Like they're bullying the other teams.
Yeah. Well, and what really cracks me up is that everyone's like, "Your team could do it too." I'm like, "Could they?" I mean, like, granted, I understand that most all owners are billionaires with a B, okay?
Yeah.
But there's a difference between, Guggenheim money,
Yeah.
okay, and, everybody else, okay? Like,
Yeah,
just
and
come
I'm
on now,
sorry,
like
like, trust me, it's kind of hard to talk about this kind of stuff without getting political, but let's be clear that, like, professional sports is not here to dictate anything like that that happens in our country, like, it is this way because of all of that, and
yeah,
they will not fix it. So there's
yeah,
no use, like, arguing about it in terms of how professional sports plays into it. These owners are very wealthy, they are going to stay very wealthy. They didn't buy the baseball team to lose money.
yeah,
So faulting them for not making, formidable moves to keep their business in good standing is just stupid. Like it's a business like
mhm,
anything else. So I'm not agreeing with the fact that there need to be people who make gross more amounts of money than anyone else in this world. We don't need to talk about that, but I'm not saying I'm here for that because I'm not.
right, right,
But it is how it is.
yeah,
And it's ignorant to be like, "You should be willing to throw your money away and lose money." Like, that's not what they're going to do.
yeah. I'm like,
And
they didn't become billionaires by doing this, people, like, come
exactly.
on now,
Right.
alright? Now, I
Right.
it's
And you saw what one season of Steve Cohen doing that did to the Mets and is the ramifications of that are
mhm.
gonna be, into the foreseeable future. So, yeah, I just think you can't that's just not a fair statement, and again, like, this could be a whole one-hour conversation just on why that statement doesn't read.
Yeah. But yeah, so now granted, like there's still a lot of ifs for the Dodgers, okay? Like granted, that top half of the projected lineup is tough. With the signing of Yamamoto and Tyler Glass now, their rotation is fortified a little bit more. However, don't get it twisted, guys. Like there's still a lot of big ifs for this Dodgers team. Okay. Walker Bueller is coming back off of TJ. Okay. Tyler Glasnow has literally not pitched more than 100 innings in any of the seasons that he has been professional baseball player. Okay. Yamamoto, will he get acclimated? Then they have 2 baby rookies in Emmett Sheehan and not
Bobby
Gavin
Miller.
Stone. Bobby Miller, thank you. I'm like, who is the other one? I can't remember Bobby Miller to save my life, apparently. But it, again, Max Muncy is your everyday third baseman, guys. Like, are we sure about that? There's still some ifs in that Dodgers rotation.
Yeah,
Yes.
do you think that the Dodgers will win more games? I think this is like a really good comparison. This is what I keep coming back to. Do you think the Dodgers will win more games in 2024 than like the Braves and or the Phillies?
I don't think they will.
I don't think so either. I don't think even just on paper, I still don't think they're better than those teams.
So, I mean, granted, they're trying. They are trying to create the super team, but you're gonna have to sign a couple more players in order to do that. And quite honestly, I don't think they're done. And if, oh my god, if they get Emmanuel Clase, I will just vomit. I will just straight up vomit. Just straight up. But it is what it is at this point. And but again, that, like, fuck, that's baseball, guys. Like, that's literally no one in their right mind, except for that, like, one guy who made, like, $60,000 on the bet of the Diamondbacks, like, winning the NLCS last season. But, like, nobody, literally nobody had the Diamondbacks beating the Dodgers
Yeah.
ever, right? And it happened. It
Right.
happened. So, again, it's baseball, and that's why we play 162. That's why we play best of 7 series, best of 5 series. Anyways, 'cause things like this happen.
Yeah.
So, while yes, it's so sucky and annoying and it's the Dodgers, don't lose hope. Don't lose hope, guys. But just
Yeah.
you
Trust
can
that they are
yeah.
more focused on truly, I like truly, truly believe they are more focused on making money from all the other revenue streams that have nothing to do with how many games that they actually win.
Yeah.
That's what this is about, way more than it is about winning. And it takes a lot more than just spending the most money to put together a winning season and the winningest season over 162. So, yes, public service announcement. I am doubling down as a serious Diamondbacks fan. I hope you'll join me. And anybody who wants to hop on the bandwagon here. I mean, obviously, I'm still a St. Louis Cardinals fan first, but
you know that I'm here.
yeah, we are behind the Diamondbacks full force, and I really appreciate and look at what they are doing to better their team with a very respectable yet manageable payroll. They're doing the work that's like interesting and fun to talk about and fun to see, that takes way more than just shelling out the most dough. And I'm way more impressed and interested in that.
And Mike Hazen, he's not the president of operations. He is general manager. He has said that they are not done either yet. So, again, shout out Diamondbacks for literally breaking the souls and hearts of the Dodgers and making them go spend $1 billion with a B dollars on 2 players to
I do
quote
think
unquote get
therapy
better.
is probably cheaper than that, but I mean, what do I know?
I don't know. Some of those rich motherfuckers are pretty fucked. So maybe not. I don't know.
That's true. It definitely would take a lot longer to get to
Probably.
the root cause.
So, but with that, we are going to end the show. We are going to wish all of you and yours a Merry Christmas and Happy Holidays and all of the festivals, anything that you celebrate or don't celebrate. Not here to judge. However you want to celebrate this season. We wish you all of the goodness there. Kels, whose birthdays are you celebrating? Like, I know that you've got holidays and stuff.
Yeah, so besides Jesus's birthday, which I am celebrating on Christmas,
Right.
my mother-in-law is turning 70 a couple of days after Christmas,
Ooh.
and then one of my cousins, Summer, her birthday is on December 29th, so we always, like, kind of celebrate her birthday at Christmas too, which I feel bad about because she never gets a separate birthday, but she's used to it by now.
Right. Well, fun. Okay, so, again, we wish you guys a very Merry Christmas and all of the Festivus. I don't actually know when Festivus is. I don't do the Seinfeld thing, but Merry Festivus to any of you that celebrate. So
be safe,
yes,
stay cozy if nothing else.
Don't drink and drive, guys. Like, no, for real. So don't drink and drive. Okay,
not do that.
Please.
Sit in your basement and drink.
Yes, exactly. And with that, we are going to close the show. So, Kelsey, tell the people where they can find you.
You can find me on the Twitter at kbirdtweets. Right here. You can find me on the Instagram at peace.love.baseball and on YouTube at kbirdtweets as well. And you get to one of those spots, you find the link tree, you find everything else for my weekly episodes of Peace, Love, and Baseball, my other podcast, Babes, and all the good stuff here for Bourbon and Baseball as well.
Yeah.
Susie, where can they find you and us?
You can find the show at Bourbon and B-Ball on Twitter. You can find the Instagram at Bourbon and Baseball Pod. I don't remember what the YouTube is, but if you're here, you're actually looking at it. So, what's that? But shout out to all of the Japanese listeners. I don't know where you came from or how you found us. Please let me know, because I am very, very curious. Because at some point, somehow, you guys have listened to enough episodes to get the show to ranked 18th overall baseball show in Japan. Like, I don't know how or why, but thank you so much. Thank you so much. USA, hop on it. I don't know where y'all are at, but Japanese listeners, thank you so much. We appreciate that. So, if you've not left a 5-star review or given us a 5-star rating, there we go, 5-star rating, written review, we would love that. Or hit subscribe on the YouTubes, we would also appreciate that. So, any of those, do that in your spare time. Tell a friend if they like sassy, sarcastic remarks, and don't mind the word fuck. That's what this podcast is about. That. Yeah. So, with that, we will say goodnight and yay, baseball.